Authors of Pain made their debut on this show. This was maybe the least surprising of all the arrivals. I feel like they've been waiting in the wings for a while now to come to the main roster. They beat Heath Slater and Rhino. Now, they came to the ring with Paul Ellering, and when they went to leave, they pushed him back and said, "You stay." And they walked to the top of the ramp without him. Now, later on, WWE.com had an interview backstage with the Authors of Pain. Their English, we haven't heard them speak very often. Their English sounded fine to me. And then Ellering came up and is like, "What are you guys doing? I brought you to the Dusty Cup and I brought you to the NXT Tag Team titles." And then I can never say who's Akam and who's Razar, but one of them said, "Paul, your chapter ended in NXT." And then they walked off. There's been lots of talk about how Ellering maybe he doesn't like to travel. He doesn't want to be on the road as much. He's an older man now, and that's why they split them up. He went on Twitter, Ellering did on his Twitter account, to say that he loves to travel. And so I think what this may be a case of is it may just be a case of him or them wanting to use him, if they still do use him, in some kind of a role in NXT or at the Performance Center. Giving advice to younger talents. I don't know if they would actually put him with somebody else as a manager, or maybe they would use him off camera, again, to give advice and that sort of thing. Triple H is very big on the past and, bringing people like Ellering in and like Dusty Rhodes. And he's very old school like that. So I'm sure if he thinks that there's a role for Ellering to help the younger guys in NXT, then he'll keep him there doing that. So I don't know that it has anything at all to do with him not wanting to travel. That may just be a complete BS story. Splitting him from Authors of Pain is not, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not as bad as, say, splitting Zelina Vega away from Andrade Cien Almas. Now, that would be a dumb decision. In this case, Authors of Pain, they're going to sink or swim with or without Ellering. I don't really see it being that much of a big deal, him not being with them. You want to put these guys in a good spot, though? I'll tell you what you could do with the Authors of Pain. Why not have them help Roman Reigns win the championship in that cage match in Saudi Arabia? And align all three of them as a group. I mean, Reigns would be better off as a heel. I know I sound like a broken record with this. I know it's not going to happen, but, he would just be so much better off right now as a heel. And the story is there. He can't beat Lesnar. The world is against him. He thinks Vince McMahon is against him. Again on television Monday night, he was out there bitching about Vince and not giving him a heads up about Lesnar's new contract and people stabbing him in the back and stuff, and he can't beat Brock. That's already been established. He couldn't beat him at WrestleMania 31, even though he was close, and then Seth interfered, but he couldn't beat him then. He couldn't beat him at SummerSlam last year in the four-way, and he could not beat him at WrestleMania this year. This year, there was no excuse. There was no interference. There was no distraction. He pinned him fair and square. Right in the middle of the ring. Took 17,000 F5s to do it, but Brock's got this guy's number. And between that and all of the hate that Reigns just comes out and gets every single week, and that scathing promo that Samoa Joe cut on him on Monday night, which had a lot of truth to it. And so storyline-wise, it's not hard to think that maybe this guy reaches his breaking point. He certainly has more than enough reasons to snap, right? The only problem, though, with a group like Reigns and AOP, if you put them together, is they really do need somebody else to do the talking for them. I don't like Heyman turning on Brock and going with them. You guys know how I feel about splitting the two of them up, and that I would never do it. So who else would fill that role? I'm not sure, but there should be a fourth person. Maybe they should have kept Ellering with them. No, I don't even think Ellering really is the person. Not that Ellering can't talk. They need a real, good speaker, I think, to put with them. Whether it's a wrestler or a manager. They need somebody who could fill that role. But again, that's just an idea. I just spit that out there as an idea. I know Reigns is the chosen one. He's the chosen babyface, and he'll get his moment come hell or high water. But I think it's an idea that could work. Just like I thought it would work a couple of years ago when I pitched doing a Samoan heel group with Roman and the Usos coming out of WrestleMania. I think coming out of WrestleMania 32 is when I pitched that. And you know what the funny thing is about that? The funny thing is, had they done something like this 2 years ago when I first pitched it, by now, the dude may well be over as a huge babyface the way they want him to be. I still believe that. I still believe that in certain situations like this, you have to go heel in order to become accepted as a babyface. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Roman will never be accepted. But it's like the John Cena thing. For years, everybody wanted John Cena to go heel. Now, if John Cena went heel, let's say he did, and he came close, 2012, the plans were there. He had new gear, made new music. He said this before. Let's say they went through with it and they turned John Cena heel. Ask yourself this question. Would you have accepted him later on as a babyface? I don't know. Maybe not. But to me, it's worth doing. They have enough talent now. They have enough big names, and Strowman is still there. Strowman could be the guy on one of those shows. It's not like if they turn Roman, oh my God, we have nobody who could be a babyface. Like, you got plenty of guys to choose from here. You know, even a good heel, like Samoa Joe, I think would also make for a great babyface. Do a double turn. Believe me, people would get behind Joe in a heartbeat. But I always find that funny. Like, if they would have done this a year ago, 2 years ago, by now he might just be in the position they wanted him to be in. But they're so damn stubborn. You know who is so damn stubborn. 4 years later, here we are. We're in the same boat. This guy is as hated as ever. And it just makes me shake my head because it didn't have to be that way.